Manila.
And I'm Sheila Alena Pinto.
And I'm Jean Eric N. Matuna. Our courtesy and respect to the Chancellor of Mindanao State University, Maguindanao, Dr. Michael Siran of Fertitis Siswa Pakalanong Nagpona.
To the Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs of Mindanao State University, Dr. Consuelo Lisa.
To the Dean of College of Public Affairs and Governance, Dr. Venancia M. Nur, MBA. To our subject teacher, Ma'am Sarah J. Diamukaman.
And to our dear classmates.
Welcome to our video presentation about source of policy, factors that influence policy formulation, development,
And policy formulation cycle.
So now, first, let's define what is policy. Now, when we say policy or when we heard policy, policy is a law, regulation, procedure, administrative action, incentive, or voluntary practice of governments and other institutions. Now, policy is a deliberate system of principles to guide decisions and achieve rational outcomes. A policy is a statement of intent and is implemented as a procedure or protocol. These are generally adopted by a governance body within an organization.
Let's proceed to the factors that influence policy formulation or development. The policy process is influenced by many factors including knowledge and innovation. It impacts policy by catalyzing new debates and creating awareness of new opportunities. Another is social, political, and economic context. These three are very important because it plays a big role in policy development, and in making a policy, it shows the capabilities of social, political, and economic aspects. Next is legal framework. Laws that defines institutional process, the formation of cooperative, and the role of local government, for instance, and government budget and procedures. Another is specific events, especially traumatic events that demand a political response. These include both natural disaster and anthropogenic events like sudden changes in market condition and wars. Next is institutional influences. There are structures and capabilities of formal institutions such as central government agencies, local government, NGOs, the private sectors, political parties, and organized religions. Last factor that influence policy formulation is external influences. There are the donors, international agreement, external media, and events. And those are the factors that can influence policy formulation or development.
Let's proceed to policy formulation cycle. So the first one is agenda setting. So public attention focuses on a public problem or issue. Officials' words and actions help focus attention. The second one is policy formulation. Policymakers in the legislature and the bureaucracy take up the issue. They create legislative, regulatory, or programmatic strategies to address the problem. The third one is policy adoption. So policymakers formally adopt a policy solution, usually in the form of legislation or rules. The fourth one is policy implementation. So the government agencies begin the job of making the policy work by establishing procedures, writing guidance documents, or issuing grants in aid to other governments. The last one is policy evaluation. Policy analysis inside and outside government determine whether the policy is addressing the problem and whether implementation is proceeding well. So they may recommend revisions in the agenda, in the formulation of policy, or in its implementation.